Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136. Right, here we go.
From real estate to real life and everything in between, The Brad Weisman Show. And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
All right, we're back. We're back, and we had a lot of stuff going on before we started this show. Yeah, we had issues with the, you got the pliers out? Look, see, look at that. We got pliers out. We had tools out. We were looking for things. You might notice, if you're watching the show, you might notice that there was tools involved, and there's a new mic stand here. This is not going to be like this forever because it's driving me crazy already. Right, Hugo?
That's right.
All right, we're going to find something that we like, right? And Hugo doesn't have a microphone now because now I'm using his stand. So things are just messed up. It's just the way it is. I don't know what else to tell you. So at least it's not a guest that's going to deal with this terrible mic stand problem. That it's Pete Heim. So that's good. If it was somebody else, we'd really care, but we don't really give a rip because it's just Pete Heim.
That's right. I didn't do it. That's all I got to say.
I know you didn't.
I didn't break it. I mean, look at these. This is in pieces, man. That's
anyway, yeah. I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
Wear and tear,
right.
man.
Well, we'll get a new one. So
China.
That's the way it is. All right. China. Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's talk about real estate.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's what we do.
Well, I think we should ask Hugo to yell if he has something to say. Just kind of scream.
Yeah, you can yell. Or, I have your microphone on, just so you know. So I'm going to turn it off until you plug it in.
Oh, he's got the, okay.
And
he's got the stand.
What's really bad, I have to sneeze.
God
Never
bless
had.
you. God
That's
bless,
the
God
first time for that.
Really?
Never sneezed on here before.
I'm
208
on
shows, 209 shows, never sneezed.
Must be allergic to
It must be you. Yeah, it must be you. All right, so Hugo, you can just use that.
Yeah.
There you go. See, he's like a star now.
I have a real estate question.
Already?
Yes.
Oh, you do have one.
Good.
Okay,
Good for you.
Do we want to start with your question, or do you want to?
Yeah, I have a question. Then let's start it. What winter tips? There are some. The landscape might not be us looking as nice, but what are some benefits of actually buying or selling in winter?
In winter?
Yeah.
Oh man,
just stole my thunder.
Oh, okay. Well, look, he already has.
I'm just kidding. Actually,
Did he steal?
I do know. I did have something about selling in that sweet spot, the winter sweet spot they call it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yep. You want to talk about that, or you just
going
going to leave us hanging?
Well, you know what?
He's like, I was going to talk about it, but now that Hugo brought it up, I'm not going to talk about it.
now.
Yeah.
No, when I got the KCM thing that said about it slides like early November, I started doing our real own research. You know what? It even happened during COVID.
Does it look something like that? Is it this one?
Yeah, it's just like this, those little circles.
Yeah, there's a little spot there, Hugo, that happens every once in a while. You see, it's all the way down at the bottom, so it's a little small.
Yeah.
But what happens is that during the winter, there is a time where I think there's less listings.
Yeah.
Right? So what happens is if you are a listing that's on the market, then you would be one that actually is going to get more attention because there's less listings and typically the same amount of buyers. Now, that has been kind of not the case as much over the past 3-4 years.
Brad, I looked at it.
Is it the case?
It is the case, but on a more gradual basis from 2020 through 23, it was more gradual.
Yeah.
But it's becoming more pronounced.
Yeah.
I notice now.
Well, what's funny about that is back in the day, we always talk about back in the day when there was a lot of listings in the market, it would fluctuate sometimes 300 to 400 homes less in January and February.
Right.
So when there was a market that was when it was a seller's when it was a buyer's market, we would tell the sellers, look, don't take your home off the market during January and February because everybody else is taking it off the market. So what ends up happening is you're actually putting it back on the market when everybody else is putting it back on the market, which is spring.
Yeah.
So when do you want to have your house on the market? When do you want to sell anything? When there's less of them or more of them?
Right, exactly.
You want to sell when there's less of them because you're going to get a higher price.
That's right.
And here's another perk. Don't houses look amazing when they're decorated for Christmas?
Absolutely, for pictures.
That's true.
And so they really look nice.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. The only thing about years ago too is that when it would snow, you would have snow in the pictures and it would be July. So that was always, we'd be like, that was how you knew an agent was not really keeping up on his listing or her listing.
Days on market were 9 months.
Yeah. Days on market were 9 months. But that you would see a house that's listed in July and there's still snow in the picture. Like, you got to redo the pictures.
Yeah,
you know?
So if you know that you're going to sell, you're going to put your house on the market in winter, then should you then take the pictures
I do that all the time. Right now, I have about 4 homes.
Good point.
That I took the pictures of the outside already, okay? And they're not listing until February or March. And I did that because there was still color in their landscaping. There were still some things there. And I didn't want to put it on the market in March or February when it's just gray. And also you could have a foot of snow on the ground in March or February.
That's
Hopefully we
right.
won't, but
Oh yeah.
Imagine taking pictures up in Erie. Yeah. We're gonna take a picture of 6 foot of snow in front of your house. It's crazy. I know. Crazy. So so there is that sweet spot. But what else do you have there? How many homes are on the market this month?
Was that it, Hugo?
Yeah,
We're good.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. That's good. Good question.
Yeah.
But here's to wrap that all up.
I did a video. I'm going to do a video on this now. I think.
Oh, good.
I think I'm going to. It's
There
a
you
great
go.
topic.
Do a video.
Interesting.
Yeah, Pete does a video. When do you do your video? We'll push that.
Friday, 3:00.
Friday at 3:00. He does a video on your own Facebook, right?
Yep. Yep. Peter Heim Realtor. It's also on Instagram.
Right. And you do like a board, like a whiteboard a lot of times.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes I do.
yeah.
Sometimes I don't.
Okay.
If I see a topic that I want to just get it recorded and do it, I'll just do it.
So a lot of times on our show, he does the abridged version.
That's right.
And then when you see him on his show, he does the big time details. You really break it down.
I will take one of our topics, that
Right, and you break it down
a bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So go to Pete's page. You can see the details of that because it's always cool. But just to wrap up what we were saying about that too. The other thing is, once again, don't try to time the market. The only market we know we have is the market we have right now, okay? If you're looking forward or you think, I'm going to take it off in January or February or whatever, don't try to do that. No. Just if you're ready to sell, sell. If you're ready to buy. Get in the market, get in the game, and when the right thing is there, when the right home is there, then you make a move.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Don't try to time it.
No, don't try to time it. So let's talk about timing.
Yeah. You want to talk about timing? We should talk about timing. How he's freaking late for the show every week.
It was 4 minutes. I'm very proud of myself.
Whatever.
Anyway, so hey, dude. So I mean, there was a couple of KCMs over the last a few weeks. I just thought we should probably talk about. And then what I do is I like to get their information, and then I usually go a little deeper. Yeah. Interest rates on the rise during election years. During the actual election year. Yeah. Which is 2024 for us. Yeah. They went up.
The rates went up.
Yeah, the rates went up. Okay. And it's pretty much characteristic of what happens now, okay? The other two things to watch about with mortgage rate volatility is inflation and unemployment. Okay. And I think this new now that the election's over and
thank God.
Yeah, I know you guys, but I'm sick of seeing it.
Yeah, I don't care who approved whose message. I mean, Jesus almighty.
Yeah. But inflation and unemployment I'm thinking are going to be addressed. Right. So unemployment's still pretty good. It's like 4.1 or something. It's still not too bad at all.
Historically, it's amazing.
Historically, it's good. Yeah. So mortgage rate volatility is probably going to affect us in 2025 pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. And I think what's going to happen is if it does go down more than what we think, the market's going to go crazy.
Oh, it'll be bizarre.
But I also think you're going to see a lot of refis then too.
That's right.
You'll see a lot of refis because we're really low on refis as far as historically we're low.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, obviously, there's these people that got secured 6.5 or 7 right now. Yeah. They're going to be jumping if it goes to 5. They're going to do it, and they should.
And remember, some people got 7.75 and 8%.
That's right.
That was only several months ago. I mean, I know we want to forget about that, but it happened.
It did bump.
And there's a bunch of buyers that bought in that price in that percentage rate, and they're going to be refining out. So
yeah. But then let's just talk about too that the elephant in the room about the big headline with mortgage debt is at an all-time high.
I thought he was calling me an elephant. I'm like, I know I gained weight, but geez, it's amazing.
It's actually feeling a little after Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh, yes,
feeling that myself. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so they're talking about the amount of mortgage debt. Talk about that.
And do we have a graphic on that? Then
I have one here, which is black and white. I wanted to do this in color, and I cheaped out. No, actually, I forgot. But what it's basically saying, and you can say, is it says that everybody's crying the blues, saying, "Oh my gosh, we have $48.2 trillion in housing debt," right? As opposed to the housing crisis, there was $17.9 trillion of housing debt. So everybody thinks, oh my God, this is going to be 50 times worse when this thing crashes. That is not true. Big difference is $17.9 trillion in the crash. There was this is what's amazing about this.
This is crazy.
$9.7 million was the mortgage debt. $8.2 million was the home equity. Back in 2008.
That's trillion.
Yeah, 8.2. Yeah, trillion. So there was a lot more mortgage debt than there was value.
There was more debt than value.
And now,
what was that date, Brad?
That was some 2000. It said 2008, I think is what it is.
Oh, wait.
So now, today?
Yeah.
Would you have the numbers for today? It's pretty amazing.
Well, the average equity of the average person's equity, average is 315,000.
Right,
that's the average. So, and back in March of 2020, it was 129,000.
Wow,
that's
crazy.
4 years ago, it jumped.
Do you have
almost triple?
So the total amount of housing debt.
Well, yeah, the housing debt right now is 13.2 trillion. Our equity is 35.1
so
trillion.
it's it's almost three times, almost three times the amount.
Yeah.
So that's why that's what tells us that.
And hold up that graph, because that's look at that difference.
The difference in the equity there's incredible.
To see that graphic,
yeah, it's amazing.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The sky's not falling, man.
So we're still in good shape. We're not crashing.
We're great.
No, we're good.
Now, in light of that, as I was thinking, with the appreciation that homes have gotten. That means that for our kids, for the kids that are growing up right now, it's going to be, I don't want to say more difficult, but I think that for parents who want to be proactive out there, what is something that they can do to set their kids up to win those houses when the time comes, and help them just build.
And it's a good question, and that's a challenge.
Be careful with something you said about being more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's what I mean.
Be careful about that.
Yeah,
because you've got that affordability thing's got those three factors, right?
Mm-hmm. Educate me here, Pete.
But just the price. You're just talking about the price now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
And you still got the other two, right? You got interest rates, and you got your employment status.
Yeah,
basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So be careful when you say it's going to be more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been easier.
Well,
to buy a home right now. It hasn't. It's never been easy.
And inventory too. Imagine the role that inventory plays too.
Exactly.
The inventory does.
That will make it more difficult.
That's the challenge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge.
But if there's going to be 1,000 or 1,500 homes in the market in Berks County, the prices are going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. And it's going to. And if the interest rates stay the way they are, and your job stays the way it is, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So I think as a parent, they should save money.
Yeah.
And get a good credit score.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And work on everything.
Actually, credit score is a good point. I mean, because everything's based on that today.
Yeah.
Your actual interest rate is going to be based on the credit score, basically.
Right.
I mean, everything's based on that today. The thing that you have to think about though too, and everything starts to equal itself out too, Hugo. What happens is that if the rates do go up, okay, that will tend to make the housing prices come down. Okay.
Yeah. That's true.
If we start losing jobs, that will make housing prices come down, and also interest rates will come down. Yeah. Because of inflation. Yeah. So they kind of do this, back and forth. There are some times when one moves faster than the other two can keep up with, that it becomes more difficult to buy a property or whatever. Like,
that's right.
And that's what we're saying. Like, if the rates would go down to 4.5%, then it would be a huge challenge to buy a property.
Exactly.
Huge challenge.
Yep.
Because it would soak up inventory so darn fast.
Yep.
The prices would go up quicker than we can even imagine. And we would be in a situation where we were 2 years ago, a year ago.
And also remember about home prices over the last 50 years. 50. 2009, 2010, and 2011 were negative.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in Berks County or beyond, let me know. This is Brad Weisman from The Brad Weisman Show. You probably know I'm also a realtor, but I wanted to remind you, if you have any questions or you need anything, please give me a call, 484-256-5836. Thanks.
Every other year was positive. Now recently the positives have been double digits. Yeah. Right? But Brad and I always talk about that 3 or 4% appreciation is like the sweet spot of slow, nice, natural growth.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed that for many, many years before that lending crisis of 2008.
Yeah.
Right? So that affected 9, 10, and 11. I can remember 9 was 9%, 10 was 10%, and 11 was 11%. That's why I remember it.
Yeah.
Because it was the same, the year it was the same percentage.
Yeah.
That's how much it dropped. You probably remember when Boston, it was
I wanted to say Boston.
Boston.
But
it was it was in the mid or late, I think it was late 80s because I was in the business. I remember when it happened. They went up like 30% one year And the following year, they went down 40%.
No way.
It was like it was in the late 80s.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But then it leveled out.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that clean as day because my dad was like spewing about it and all that.
Yeah.
I can remember. We didn't have that in Berks County.
No, we tend to be in this little.
We didn't have it.
We kind of do this. You know, you're going to see the Californias, the New York Cities, the Austin, Texas, the Dallas, Texas, the bigger cities, the bigger metropolitan areas, Chicago. They're going to do these very sharp up and down kind of movements where we kind of do these little rides in between. And I think that's pretty much how most of middle America is, like the middle parts, the parts that are away from the cities. The cities tend to be this drastic, you know, and Florida. Florida's huge for that. And that's as a state, Florida is now getting much more inventory, the builders. But see, the thing in Florida, how they fix it is build.
They build houses.
They build because they have the land. They have the area on sand. They have the area to build. So around here, we don't have that feature. We can't just go, let's just start building. It doesn't work that way.
But see, that's what I was wondering. Do we not have the resource in terms of land, or do we have too much red taping in terms of
both? Yeah, okay. I think we have land. If you go up on a plane in Berks County, we have land, and a plane in Lancaster and anything around here, we have the land to do it. It's just what's happening right now. There's smaller pieces of land, and years ago when there was a piece of land like Werner Farm where I live, where you could do 248 homes, the expense could be spread out over 248 homes.
Right.
But right now, Hugo, what's happening is a lot of these pieces of land are only good for maybe 15 or 25 homes. They help inventory, but the problem is you can't break up that expense over enough homes for it to be affordable. And a lot of that reason for the affordability is the red tape.
Red tape. So
it's regulations from mostly not from federal government as much, but state government, local government are the big things. Yeah. And what happens is, you know, if it takes 2 years to go from purchase to shovel in the ground, that's a lot of money. That's attorney's fees, engineering fees. That's dealing with the DEP, all these different things. So it costs money.
That's what happened down here. That's going to happen on broadcasting in 222 there.
It's going to be approved, though.
They needed $18 million before they broke ground.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
That's why they had to sell out to a developer.
Right in that lot across from Target.
They were going to put the hospital. They were going to put the hospital there. They had to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine having to drop 18 mil before you can even start working on the place.
Yeah, that makes you want to vomit a lot.
Yeah, that's all regulation, dude.
Yeah, it's regulation. Yeah,
that's all the different 3-digit companies you have to deal with, like DEP and EPA and PennDOT, the DOT.
Oh yeah, there's a ton.
They're all 3 letters.
Yeah, they're all paying
FBI, CIA,
and they're all PITA. They're all PETA. But no, it's good questions though. Good questions.
Good
so speaking of the building thing, which I thought was interesting, is a lot of people also think right now that there's a lot of stories out there that we're overbuilding. We're building too much. You know, in certain areas, obviously not our area, but across the nation.
It's Florida.
Saying too much, Florida, things like that.
Yeah,
they're not overbuilding. They're catching up.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we are in a deficit. We're still in a deficit at about 3 million or 4 million nationwide of homes to people.
It's like 3.1 I saw the other day.
Yeah. So, you know, we're just trying to catch up.
But there's a lot of areas that could use new construction.
Like ours.
Right. Yeah. I just read, in the commercial world, I get the CoStar stuff, as you know. Yeah. And it was the repurposing of malls and things like that is a real thing. It's happening. Yeah. It's going to be... It's going to be. Yeah.
They should do that here locally. We have our own mall.
Got to get rid of sinkholes first.
It's amazing.
But after that,
but talk about that. We have our own mall that's been there for 1970s.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a mall that's been there from 1970s. It was a very successul mall. Did very, very well for very many years.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the mall thing just wasn't going anymore, and they made the mistake of also, when it wasn't going well, they dropped the prices of the rent so low that it brought in shops that were not really appealing to the masses. And when you do that change, then you actually it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
You got to hand it to Boscov's, man.
I'll tell you what,
they keep killing it. And they're a department store. You got to hand it to them, right?
Now it's called the Sinkhole Mall.
The Sinkhole
Mall. It used to be called the Berkshire Mall.
Sinking Spring Mall.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
It's crazy, right?
It is.
But no, the article said that the repurposing of those areas are going to be, I forget the word they use, but it's just going to be, that's exactly what you got to do now.
Well, could you imagine a place like a mall that turned in, like, take that land, either you level it or you redo it, repurpose it into apartments. Luxury or condos. Apartments. Oh my God, it'd be great.
You got area to build other buildings around it.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And I think we should do that.
That's right.
You know,
So that's what we have too, Hugo. We have the land. We have the land that's maybe not being used correctly.
Right.
Or it's not the highest we call, as an appraiser, they call highest and best use.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the highest and best use of that piece of land. And I think that's going to start
But it's
changing.
going to take rezoning maybe.
Oh, it could take rezoning.
Or variances. And that's where your red tape
the red tape comes in. Hugo, this is just a circle of
So intertwined.
Yeah,
It's like a Three Stooges skit.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable.
What's on first?
Yeah, exactly. That's not Three Stooges, but
I
that's
don't
all
know.
right. Yeah.
He's on third.
So what else you got there, buddy?
What else we got here? Oh, okay. I saw something about co-buying. And helping the affordability thing.
Yeah, co-ownership or
And
cohabitating.
It's
cohabitating.
co-ownership.
Co-ownership.
Don't say
Cohabitating is not a good word, is it?
No, don't say that
That
one.
means you're doing something bad, right?
Exactly. It's living in sin kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
Anyway.
a living in sin. Yeah. Sorry about that.
But so far in 2024, 15% of the buyers were gotten into those co-buyer relationships with a family member or somebody like that. The benefits are cost sharing.
Yep.
Right? You can buy a better home, probably. It's an investment opportunity, and you share responsibilities.
And guess what's going to have to change if that starts happening more? Codes.
Codes.
Because a lot of your local municipalities do not allow
They don't allow it.
another kitchen, another sink, or another kitchen, another living area within the home.
Well,
they consider that can be construed as a 2-unit.
It could, but that did not redress that part. It was just two people coming together to buy the house the way it is
And living it the way it is.
Yeah, the way it is.
Gotcha.
Right?
But if you start,
but that is you
the
were
other
right
thing,
about that.
Yes, because we dealt with that when we were doing new construction. We used to have to, in order to do a separate living area, like an in-law quarters, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We would have to we could go so far as to put in a sink and some cabinets, but we were not allowed to put a stove in. That's where they stopped us.
Yeah, right.
We couldn't put a stove in. You could do a fridge. And then what you could call it then is you could call it a bar.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as soon as people would move in, they'd end up putting a stove in.
Sure, of course.
Whatever. But there's ways around that. But the reason being is they were afraid you were going to be renting that space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you do co-buy with somebody, you got to make sure the one issue you got to think about is the type of ownership, and you're going to probably go tenants in common.
Yep.
Which means you each get a percentage of the building or the property versus you both own the whole thing. So those are little things you got to watch if you go to do that. I would definitely talk to an advisor about before you go do that.
Attorney. Have a will written up or something so that everybody's in a very open agreement of what happens if somebody passes.
And the percentage of ownership.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Because emotions can get involved, feelings can get hurt. You just got to make sure all that gets spelled out first.
So true.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Delinquency rates. Let's talk about that quick, and then I guess we're going to probably have to wind it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The delinquency rates are 90 days late, right?
Yeah.
If you're delinquent on your mortgage. In third quarter of 2024, it was 0.8.
And when was this?
This was this year.
This year.
Okay, in third quarter.
Amazing.
In 2010, it was the peak.
I can't imagine what it
was
then.
9.
Oh my
Almost
gosh.
10% of every mortgage
Was
out
in
there
default.
was in default.
90 days.
We're
We're not talking you missed your mortgage for a month. We're talking
90 days late.
Which usually when you go 90 days, you're not getting back.
You're
from it.
done.
You're not coming back.
The keys are going on the counter and you're finished.
Yeah.
But no, I just thought that was interesting.
Wow,
about
that's incredible.
Delinquency rates. Yeah.
No
man.
wonder we had inventory back then.
Yeah, right. And around that same time, the unemployment was 8.3.
Wow.
We're at 4.1 today. So, between 08 and 12, it was 8.3.
It's incredible.
So,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
Is that all you got, man?
I hope that's helpful. Yeah.
No, that's very helpful. Very good.
Hugo was helpful today.
I'll tell you what's not. He had, you know what? I think he's
the mic.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. This mic stand sucks that I have. I'll tell you that. I definitely am getting a new stand. This is terrible.
You can't stand.
And this is the one Hugo usually uses. See, Hugo gets the crappy stand. It's unbelievable. You see who got the good stand for the show? Yeah. You think he would have offered that up, right? You think he would have said, "Hey, Brad, why don't you use mine?" Unbelievable.
Selfish.
Unbelievable. All right, there you go. Pete was here. We all know that. I got to get a new mic stand. We know that because this one stinks. That's about it. See us every Thursday at 7 p.m. And we got all kinds of good guests coming up every single week. And don't forget about our sponsors. We got First Response Contracting and Comfort Pro. They sponsor the show, and we really appreciate them. All right, that's about it. Hey guys, I want to take a second and thank Comfort Pro. Since 2001, Comfort Pro has been helping customers stay comfortable where they live, work, and play. They have 24/7 emergency service and a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. If you need help with your heating and air conditioning or indoor air quality, call Comfort Pro at 484-917-1803. Mention the show and receive a free humidifier with the installation of a complete system.